Thunder Radio, where we groove as the spirit moves. Yeah. Drawing the honey, the rock, with the righteous Reverend Doctor on Booming Thunder Radio.
Welcome to the Fourth Watch, mighty friends. I'm Brother T.C. from the Elijah Ministries. Coming at you live. Full of forgiveness, having prayed for you all. All the righteous and those that are to receive the righteousness of Yahshua's seed in their heart. That even though they may be the least in the kingdom of heaven, even with a right hand removed, with the wickedness of Mystery Babylon thrust inside, take not that blue pill and be rocked back to sleep, waving your right hand before the world of Mystery Babylon, and it beckons you inside. It won't be long. You'll be plugged in to their digital realm, their holographic nightmare. Guard your gates, mighty friends. Turn away from the mystery of inequity, skillfully crafted, a weaver's work in your heart and mind. The television, the radio, the social media, the crafting of your inequity. With everything you do online, are you consumed by that little demon in your hand, that little thrusting nature that calls and beckons you constantly to give it worship? The idol in your hand, the image of the beast is what it is. You only have to look on the back at the fruits, given forth, the original sin, the biting of the forbidden fruit. Was it the apple, or was it the apple of her eye? Let us be holy, righteous, and true, faithful in our honoring the everlasting, the eternal Father, revealed by the fullness of his Son, Yahshua, that came, doing the Father's work. He came in the Father's name, as each of us will come upon the whole earth, not of ourselves, but of the love of Yahshua flowing through our veins and dripping from our lips. That the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of heavens, each one, built its owner in this season of time. And this reality is all we have to skillfully bring the millennium in the heart of Yahshua, yea, in the tabernacle of our mind, each one, yea, dyeing the lambskin red, covering the goat hair, covering that coat of many colors around the whole earth, yea, the badger skin outside like the prayer shawl, it all skillfully crafted and sewn together by angels upon the earth, a covering, a meeting place for mighty Jehovah, for God's anointed, first in the natural, then in the eternal spirit, yea, of the one that is faithful and true, mighty Jehovah, yea, the unknowable one who, in his love for us, that we may know him, he gave us his Son, that we could see and place our hands, yea, and our fingers through the holes, yea, that you may see the Red Sea part each morning in the wave of Yahshua's revelation, yea, as he walks up alongside your ship and holds out his hand and says, come, and in faith, you, spotless one, step out upon the water, holding Yahshua's hand in the fourth watch each morning. In faith, first as the size of a mustard seed, and then as the sprouting comes, and the word, yea, Yahshua reveals himself, yea, in each of the seasons, yea, those first 3 seasons of the fruit that we are not to touch. But in the 4th season, the fruit shall be born, yea, and bred, and put in bushel baskets for all the fathers and the sons, yea, and their glory, yea, given by the joy in their mothers' hearts, yea, 2 as one, each and every one with the Son of Glory, yea, the tabernacle in their mind, building the temple, yea, the 3rd temple in their hearts, in the heavens upon the earth, yea, is Yahshua, the Mashiach, is his place prepared in your vessel? Is your vessel willing only to receive the glory of the Son, Yahushua HaMashiach, that when he comes, that we may be as he in the fullness of his coming, yea, in the brightness of the blade as it enters in wisdom, and wisdom parts her pages and reveals herself in Ezekiel 41 this day. Oh, let us take the hand of Yahshua in each of our hearts, the living word he has given us, yea, and let us walk upon the living water in the 4th watch together, Yea, today is 1,000 years in the Spirit with our Father, mighty Jehovah, that he would reveal the Son and prepare the place for him in our hearts, that in the Father's perfect time, yea, when the water, yea, the washing of the Word has been complete, and the fullness of the Son is seen in the heavens inside, and the sprouting of the mustard seed once planted, yea, has brought forth the valley, yea, of decision, yea, olive trees and pomegranates, yea, and black olives, and golden anointing oil in hearts and minds. So let's open up to around 13 and 70. Yea, can you dig that, mighty friend? In your Bible, and for Ezekiel 41, and let's talk about, yea, the heavens hidden inside, and the wise master builder, Yahshua, yea, the Mashiach, the Messiah that comes, yea, in the spirit of truth, revealing himself by our love for the Word, yea, crafting the third temple, yea, the inner temple. Oh, then he brought us to the nave and measured the side pillars, 6 cubits wide on each side was the width of the side pillar. The width of the entrance was 10 cubits, and the sides of the entrances were 5 cubits on each side. And he measured the length of the nave, yea, 40 cubits in the wilderness, yea, and the width 20 cubits, yea, the coming of age when we cross over into the divine. When he went inside and measured each side pillar of the door, yea, the way, 2 cubits, and the doorway, yea, 2 as 1, 6 cubits, and the width of the door and the way, 7 cubits. He measured its length, 20 cubits, and the width, 20 cubits, before each nave. And he said to us, "This is the most holy, yea, the most holy place in the temple. Yea." Then he measured the wall of the temple, 6 cubits, and the width of the side chambers, 4 cubits. Yea, like the season of harvesting the fruit. And all around about, yea, the house, yea, built by the potter's hands on every side. The side chambers were in 3 stories. One above another, and 30 in each story. And the side chambers extended to the wall, which on their inward side, all around, that they might be fastened and not be fastened into the wall of the temple. The side chambers surrounding the temple were wider at each successive story, because the structure surrounding the temple went upward by stages on all sides of the temple. Therefore, the width of the temple, as it went higher, it was increased, and thus went one up from the lowest to the highest by the way of the second. Ye, two as one ascending, wise master builders, crafting, planning, carving the stone hidden inside your heart. May it become tender with flesh of Mashiach. In the Father's perfect time. May He send His Spirit in a measure that would help you. Oh, that cold, cold heart. Chisel it into a craftsman's work, a scroll work of a heart, with ivory bells and lilies with olive branches all around. Let us hold 13 arrows in our left hand. Let us pull from our quiver 13 more in our right. A double portion of everlasting glory is the love of Yahovah's everlasting glory in each one's heart. 13 in the left, 13 in the right. Let us plunge them into the earth. For a times and a half time. That the work that was desired in the books long ago could manifest in the way, in the truth of the life of Mashiach, prepared for the coming in each one's heart. To rule the nations, to make the gods of the pantheon, the pantheon, all of them bow at our feet. Not in a carnal mind, but in the spiritual anointing of the carrier of the divine presence of the Son of Glory, seen in our hearts, revealed by the honey from our lips, the piercing of our mind. Can you bear the truth? Can you bear the sifting of the glory of God upon your heart? 'cause your wickedness beyond a measure of 70 times 7, and your not fearing the everlasting eternal one in your carnal nature, you rise up against the righteous only to be struck down and slain before the King of glory in the Father's perfect time. Yea, spirit slain and carnal flesh led away into the darkness that they have served in this realm. That darkness would only be in the night, and pillars of fire would rule it and burn wickedness out of men's eyes. Yea, there. Cold, cold, stony heart. Yea, that wax coldness, that arctic blast in their ears and on their heart can only be healed by the wanting of the truth and the setting of 12 stones in your heart, each one unhewn, that our brothers will know, yea, that you have received the grace, the true grace. The grace is the power of God to live in Mystery Babylon around the whole earth, knowing the wickedness in every man, woman, and child's heart, each passerby, and still love them even as their fingers twist and turn and their hand and cock-a-doodle-doo in their cowboy, yea, boots. Yea, these boots are made for walking. That's what they're gonna do. One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over you. Yeah, I sung that song with the Red Chili Peppers down on 6th Street a lifetime ago. Yeah. Perhaps they knew who I was, 'cause they threw that microphone right up into my mouth and I just let it rip. Yeah. Like that old big fella I used to work with down in Phoenix, y'all. Had a whole house full of kids and a wife that drove him crazy. I wonder how he's doing now. Hope he's doing okay. Hope you're doing okay today. I hope the word of truth and the wanting of the knowledge of the glory as the water, yeah, the wetness covers the sea of those who read the word and part the reed, yea, getting down to the edge will roll in the wade of the shallow water, yea. May your feet be washed at the blood, the river of blood in our great nation. Yeah, the legality. I had heard that 6 months after the birth, the abortion can be done. What kind of madness is this? They're clapping their glorious nature of killing unborn children or freshly born children in their sanctimonious ceremonies. In New York City, get a rope. That's all, a picante sauce, a piece of sauce they got up there, boy. Mighty Father, break it off in their hearts if they do such wickedness. But if they hang in a honey pot, that all the wickedness will come to, like the stench of a rotting corpse. If they can be rounded up by the elect hosts, that stand in righteousness and truth, with double swords, with double edges like razors, piercing hearts and minds. So we saw also that the house, the house of Mariahovah, had a raised platform all around. The foundations of the side chambers were a full rod of 6 long cubits. The thickness of the outer wall of the side chambers, 5 cubits. But the free space between the side chambers belonging to the temple and the chambers, 20 cubits in width all around. The temple on every side. The door and the way of the side chambers, some other way into the divine, toward the free space, one door and way toward the north, and another door and way toward the south, and the width of the free space, 5 cubits all around. The building that in front of the separate area at the side toward the west, 70 cubits wide, and the wall of the building 5 cubits thick all around, and length 90 cubits. Then he measured the temple, 100 cubits long, the separate area with the building and its walls, also 100 cubits long. Also the width of the front of the temple and of the separate areas along the east, 100 cubits. He measured the length of the building along the front of the separate area that's behind it, with a gallery on each side. 100 cubits. Also the inner nave and the porches of the court, the thresholds and latticed windows, and the galleries round about their 3 stories, opposite the threshold, were paneled with wood all around, and the ground to the windows, but the windows were covered. Over the entrance to the inner house, and on the outside, and on all the wall, all around, inside and outside, by measurement. It was carved with cherubim and palm trees. And a palm tree was between cherub and cherub. And every cherub had 2 faces. A man's face toward the palm tree on one side, and a young lion's face toward the palm tree on the other side. They were carved on all the house, all around. A man's face toward the palm tree on one side, and a young lion's face toward the palm tree on the other side. From the ground to above the entrance, cherubim and palm trees were carved, as well as the wall of the nave. The doorposts of the nave, they were square. As for the front of the sanctuary, the appearance of one doorpost was like that of the other. The altar of wood, 3 cubits high, and its length 2 cubits. Its corners, its base, and its sides of wood. And he said to me, "This is the table that is before Jehovah." The altar of wood, the table before Jehovah. Its corners, its base, and its sides. All of wood. The nave and the sanctuary each had a double door. Each of the doors had 2 leaves, 2 swinging leaves, 2 for one door, and 2 leaves for the other. 2 as one on each door. His and her pair on each side. Also there were carved on them, on the doors of the nave, cherubim and palm trees like those carved on the walls, and a threshold of wood on the front of the porch outside. Latticed windows and palm trees on one side, and on the other side, on the sides of the porch. Thus the side chambers of the house and the thresholds. Then he brought us out into the outer court, the way toward the north. And he brought us to the chamber which was opposite the separate area and opposite the building toward the north. Along the length, 100 cubits, the north door, the width, 50 cubits. Opposite the 20 which belonged to the inner court, and opposite the pavement which belonged to the outer court, gallery corresponding to gallery in 3 stories. Before the chambers, an inner walk 10 cubits wide, a way of 1 cubit. And their openings on the north. Now the upper chambers, smaller because the galleries took more space, away from them than from the lower and middle ones in the building. For they, in 3 stories, and had no pillars like the pillars in the courts. Therefore, the upper chambers were set back from the ground upward, more than the lower and middle ones. As for the outer wall, by the side of the chambers, toward the outer court facing the chambers, its length was 50 cubits. The length of the chambers, which in the outer court, 50 cubits. And behold, facing the temple, 100 cubits. Yea, Larry and Blair holding the measuring line, the brightness of the star, yea, seen by their hearts and minds. Below these chambers, the entrance on the east side, as one enters them from the outer court. In the thickness of the wall of the court toward the east, facing the separate area and facing the building, there were chambers. The way, yea, in front of them, like the appearance of the chambers which on the north, according to their length, so was their width. And all their exits, both according to their arrangements and openings. Corresponding to the openings of the chambers which were toward the south was an opening at the head of the way. The way in front of the wall toward the east, as one enters them. Then he said to us, the north chambers, the south chambers, which are opposite the separate area, They are the holy chambers, where the priests who are near to Yahovah shall eat the most holy things. There they shall lay the most holy things, the grain offering, the sin offering, and the guilt offering, for the place is holy. When the priests enter, then they shall not go out into the outer court from the sanctuary without laying their garments in which they minister, for they are holy. They shall put on other garments, then they shall approach that which is for the people. Now when he had finished measuring the inner house, he brought us out by the way of the gate, which faced toward the east, and measured it all around. He measured on the east side with the measuring reed 500 reeds by the measuring reed. He measured on the north side 500 reeds by the measuring reed. How much have you read today? On the south side, he measured 500 reeds with the measuring reed. He turned to the west side, measured 500 reeds with the measuring reed. He measured it on the floor. It had a wall all around, the length 500 and the width 500, to divide between the holy and the profane. Then he led us to the gate, the gate facing toward the east. And behold, the glory of God, the God of Israel, was coming from the way of the east. And his voice was like the sound of many waters, and the earth shone with his glory. And like the appearance of the vision which we saw, do you see it, mighty friend? Able seamen, those who dare to walk upon the water with Yahovah, everlasting glory in their heart. And it was like the appearance of the visions which we saw, like the vision which we saw when he came to destroy the city, and the visions like the vision which we saw by the river Chabar, and we fell on our faces. And the glory of Yahovah came into the house by the way of the gate, facing toward the east. And the Spirit lifted us up and brought us into the inner court. And behold, the glory of Yahovah filled our house. Then we heard one speaking to us from the house, while a man was standing beside us. He said to us, Son of man, this is the place of my throne and the place of the soles of my feet, where we will dwell among the sons of Israel forever. And the house of Israel will not again defile my holy name, neither they know their kings by their harlotry, and by their corpses of their kings when they die, by setting their threshold by our threshold, yea, and their doorpost beside, yea, Jehovah's doorpost, yea. Have you given it to him yet? With only the wall between us and them. And they have defiled our holy name, yea, the holy name of our Father, and the everlasting glory of his Son Yahshua, by their abominations which they have committed. Yea, so we shall consume them in Yahoshua's anger. The Spirit of truth plunging the word in hearts and minds. Now let them put away their harlotry and the corpses of their kings far from Jehovah. Yea, let each of us dwell among, yea, the people of Jehovah forever. Yea, let his glory be in their hearts. Yea, in the Father's Ruach, the fullness of the Son of glory in their hearts and minds. As for you, Son of man, describe the temple to the house of Israel, that they may be ashamed of their iniquities, and let them measure the plan. Yea, heavens inside their hearts. Have you built heaven, or have you built hell upon the earth? If they are ashamed of all that they have done, make known to them the design of the house, the temple within, its structure, the word, yea, dwelling within inside lives forever, its exits, its entrances, all its designs, all its statutes, all its stories, and all its laws, and right in their sight, so that they may observe its whole design and all its statutes, and do them. Yea, like the latter rain coming forth. This is the law of the house, its entire area on the top of the mountain. Yea, in your mind, mighty friend, all around. Yea, be most holy. Behold, this is the law of, yea, the temple built within. And these are the measurements of the altar by cubits, the cubit being a cubit and a handbreadth. The base, a cubit, and the width, a cubit. And its border on its edge round about one span. And this that of the base of the altar, from the base of the ground to the lower ledge, 2 cubits, and the width 1 cubit. 2 as 1. Mashiach inside, a dwelling, yea, a carter of the divine presence. And from the smaller ledge to the larger ledge, 4 cubits, and the width 1 cubit. Yea, like a bushel basket load. The altar hearth, 4 cubits, and from the altar hearth shall extend upwards 4 horns. Now the altar hearth, 12 cubits long by 12 wide, square in its 4 sides. The ledge be 14 cubits long and 14 wide in its 4 sides. The border around it be 1/2 cubit, and its base 1 cubit round about, and its steps shall face the east. And he said to us, Son of man, thus says Yahushua HaMashiach, the faithful one of the Father, these are the statutes for the altar on the day it is built, to offer burnt offerings on it, and to sprinkle blood on it, on the day it is built. You shall give to the Levitical priests who are from the offspring of Zadok, who draw near to us, yea, filled with the glory, yea, by the dwelling of the Spirit of truth within each of our hearts, to minister, yea, to Yahushua, our Sabbath day King, declares Yahushua HaMashiach, yea, with the Father indwelling fully in his heart, a young bull for a sin offering. You shall take some of its blood and put it on its 4 horns, and on the 4 corners of the ledge, and on the border around about. Thus you shall cleanse it and make it atonement. Make atonement for it. You shall also take the bull for the sin offering, and it burned in the appropriate place of the house, outside the sanctuary. Exodus 29 and 14 for the faithful witness. On the 2nd day, you shall offer a male goat without blemish for a sin offering, and they shall cleanse the altar as they cleansed it with the bull. When you have finished cleansing, you shall present a young bull without blemish and a ram without blemish from the flock. You shall present them before Yahovah, and the priests shall throw salt on them and they shall offer them up as a burnt offering to Jehovah. For 7 days you shall prepare daily a goat for a sin offering, also a young bull and a ram from the flock, without blemish, shall be prepared. For 7 days they shall make atonement for the altar and purify it, so shall they consecrate it. When they have completed the days, it shall be that on the 8th day and onward the priests shall offer your burnt offerings on the altar, and your peace offerings, ye in the Spirit. Yea, and Yahushua HaMashiach will accept you, declares Yahushua HaMashiach, filled with the Father's glory. Yea, where you can see the glory in your heart and mind. Oh, then he brought us back by the way of the outer gate of the sanctuary, which faces the east, and it was shut. Yahovah said to us, this gate shall be shut, it shall not be opened, and no one shall enter by it. For Yahushua HaMashiach, our God of Israel, has entered by it. Therefore, it shall be shut. As for the prince, he shall sit in it as prince to eat bread before Yahovah. He shall enter by way of the porch of the gate, and shall go out by the same way. Then he brought us by way of the north gate to the front of the house, and we looked, and behold, the glory of Yahovah filled the house of Yahovah, and we fell on our faces. Yahovah said to us, Son of man, mark well, see with your eyes, and hear with your ears all that is said to you concerning all the statutes of the house of Yahovah, and concerning all its laws. And mark well the entrance of the house, with all exits of the sanctuary. And you shall say to the rebellious ones, to the house of Israel, thus says Yahushua HaMashiach, enough of all your abominations, O house of Israel! When you brought in foreigners uncircumcised in heart and uncircumcised in flesh, to be in our Father's sanctuary, to profane it, yea, even our house, when you offered our food, the fat and the blood, for they made our covenant void, in addition to all your abominations. and you have not kept charge of my holy things yourselves, but you have set foreigners to keep charge of the sanctuary of my Jehovah. Yea, each of our hearts given over to someone else to charge, to be responsible for your heart. You really think that's the way, the truth, and how to live the life of everlasting glory? Well, you're as blind as those Luciferians. Thus says Yahushua HaMashiach, no foreigner uncircumcised in heart and uncircumcised in flesh, and all the foreigners who are among the sons of Israel shall enter Yahovah's sanctuary. No uncircumcised of heart or uncircumcised of flesh, no foreigner in this manner shall enter into the house. Do you understand? This is not the Temple Mount structure. This has to do with your heart and your belief in the Word, living and breathing, that your flap could be seen and unseen as it is circumcised. But the Levites, who went far, far, far from Jehovah when Israel went astray, who went astray from Jehovah after their idols, they shall bear the punishment of their iniquity. Yet they shall be ministers in my sanctuary, the Yahovah's sanctuary, ministers in our hearts, having oversight at the gates of the house, and the ministering in the house. They shall slaughter the burnt offering and the sacrifice for the people, and they shall stand before them to minister to them. Yea, and those that twist the word of mighty Yahovah, yea, knowingly or unknowingly, may they be forgiven a full measure, 70 times 7, yea, and 2 pence more, yea, 2 mites, widows' mites more. Because they ministered to them before their idols and became a stumbling block of iniquity to the house of Israel. Therefore, Yahovah has sworn against them, declares Yahushua HaMashiach, that they shall bear their iniquity And they shall not come near to us to serve as a priest to us, nor come near to any of our holy things, to the things that are most holy, but they will bear their shame and their abominations which they have committed. Yet mighty Yahovah will appoint them to keep charge of the house and all its service, and of all that shall be done in it. Yea, so they're going to build it, and they're going to do their little service, and we ain't supposed to have nothing to do with it, y'all. You see that? But the Levitical priests, the sons of Zadok, who kept charge of Yahovah's sanctuary when the sons of Israel went astray from the Eternal One, they shall come near to Yahovah to minister to him. Each of us, and they, and we, the righteous, the sons of Zadok, offer Yahovah the fat and the blood, declares mighty Yahovah. They shall enter Yahovah's sanctuary, the temple inside. They shall come near to Yahovah's table. Is your table made of things you would do? They shall come near to the table of Yahovah to minister to him and keep his charge. It shall be that when they enter at the gates of the inner court, that place the Levites are skillful in oversight, the slaughtering, the sacrifice of the people, wickedness, destitute, partially blind, now set free as the word is revealed in their hearts at the Father, mighty Yahovah's perfect time, that they shall enter Yahovah's sanctuary within their heart. And the mighty rushing wind would reveal the everlasting glory of the Son within the living Word, like a scanning chart, the name of God rising up in their heart and mind. It shall be. Do you hear? It shall be that when we enter, with them the Zadok, enter at the gates of the inner court, they shall be clothed with linen garments, and wool shall not be on them while they are ministering in the gates of the inner court and in the house. Linen turbans shall be on their heads, and linen undergarments shall be on their loins, and they shall not gird themselves with sweat. When they go out into the outer court, to the people, they shall put off their garments in which they have been ministering, and lay them in the holy chambers. Then they shall put on other garments, so that they will not transmit holiness to the people with their garments. Also, they shall not shave their heads, yet they shall not let their locks grow long. They shall only trim the hair of their heads. Nor shall any of the priests drink wine when they enter the inner court. And they shall not marry a widow or a divorced woman, but shall take virgins from the offspring of the house of Israel, or a widow who is the widow of a priest. Moreover, they shall teach Jehovah's people between the holy and the profane, and cause them to discern between the unclean and the clean. I profess to you this very day that a woman who professes my body, my choice, yea, is a baby killer and a lapper of baby's blood, an eater of baby's flesh, their carnal lust, their wickedness in their side gates, and their hallowed places. Can you not see the righteous and the unrighteous? Those that would drink blood and stand as innocent, looking, harmless creatures. Yea, may their faces of all that have lapped blood and walked the earth unrepented, may their faces be contorted. May it reveal the wicked demons, the legions in their hearts. Yea, let the righteous man speak a word and bind them in the presence of those that are to come into the knowledge of the glory, yea, the lovers of truth. In a dispute they shall take their stand to judge. They shall judge it according to Jehovah's ordinances. They shall also keep Jehovah's laws and Jehovah's statutes in all Jehovah's appointed feasts, and sanctify Jehovah's Sabbath days. They shall not go to a dead person to defile. However, for father, for mother, for son, for daughter, for brother, or for a sister who has not had a husband, they may defile themselves. After he is cleaned, 7 days shall elapse for him. On the day that he goes into the sanctuary, into the inner court, to minister in the sanctuary, he shall offer his sin offering, declares Yahushua HaMashiach. Ye twist not the word of wicked men. Yea, may they be struck down, the spirits within them bound, yea, and cast into the abyss for what they have done to these men, to these children, to these women, to these families upon the whole earth. And it shall be, do you hear? It shall be an inheritance for them. Yahushua HaMashiach shall be our inheritance, that you and ye, a spotless lamb hidden inside, shall give them no possession in Israel. For Yahovah, everlasting glory, Yahushua HaMashiach, is their possession. Yea, will you receive? Will you make your vessel willing and prepared to receive the Mashiach when he comes? They shall eat the grain offering, the sin offering, and the guilt offering. Yea, that ain't no apple in their wickedness. And every devoted thing in Israel shall be theirs, in truth, not in the twisted nature of wickedness. For first of all of the first fruits of every kind, and every contribution of every kind, from all your contributions, shall be for the priests. You shall also give to the priest the first of your dough, to cause a blessing to rest on your house. The priests shall not eat any bird or beast that has died a natural death or has been torn to pieces. Yea, the priest shall not eat any bird or beast that has died of natural causes. Yea, that those that have turned away from the truth, that have forsaken, yea, a messenger, yea, of wisdom and mercy, yea, that the proverb and the plucking and the pecking of the raven be upon that place. Yea, that book was never seen or read as the sea, the Red Sea, is parted. As we stand upon the rock, and all those foolish. All those that demanded oil from others for their lamps, that run in the darkness blind, and the water crushes them. Yea, for their iniquity revealed in each heart and mind